Hi, welcome back for another video. I'm trading the New York session today. It's the 1st of May 2018. A couple of minutes to go before the New York Open, and I've already got some trades. Took some trades early today because of previous price action that had been going on throughout the London session today. So I'll just quickly go through these before the New York Open. EU, I took a trade on this. I was stopped out, so I'm down 8 pips on the EU. Got a re-entry there placed ready in case that comes down through that re-entry. Euro, Japanese yen, no trade on that. Pound US dollar, took this as it hit our criteria earlier on. That's moving down quite nicely now. Pound Japanese yen, moving down nice. I'm in this too and got a trading stop on that, as you can probably see. Australian dollar, US dollar, took this one earlier on. That's moving down nicely, looking for further downside movement. Australian dollar, Japanese yen, nothing on that. US dollar, Japanese yen. Nothing on the US dollar CAD. I took an earlier trade on this on the news and managed to make 10 pips on the news event that came out at 1:30 London time. So I took a trade on that, punched out of it and took 10 pips. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. I'm in this from the news trade as well. Just pulling back a little bit now. But I was looking for further upside movement. I'll stick with that for the time being though. And New Zealand dollar, US dollar, I took this short earlier on looking for further downside movement. Okay, I'm going to pause this, just need to quickly manage these trades. As you can see, there's a lot of movement going on at the moment and I'll be back very soon. Okay, quick update after we've seen some reasonable price action early on in the New York session today. Running through these pairs, I got the re-entry on the EU after being stopped out on the initial trade, so I lost 8 pips on that initially. Back in that, looking for further downside movement on the Euro US dollar. Looks like US dollar showing some strength again today, and so that's what I'm looking towards with the EU. Euro Japanese yen in this, looking for further downside movement on this. That seems to be, not sure if it's the Euro weakness or the Japanese yen strength at the moment, but seeing that move down, so I've taken a short on this, looking for further downside movement. Pound US dollar, I've locked in some profit on this now, seeing that pull back a little bit. Still possibly some further downside movement on this, seeing some weakness in the pound and also the US dollar strength pulling that down. Pound Japanese yen, got this short as well, looking for further downside movement. Saw it hit 50, came through 50 and now it's pulling back a little bit. I've locked in some profit on this, about 12 pips I think. Australian dollar, US dollar, still in on this one. Australian dollar weakness showing at the moment. And of course that US dollar strength. So looking for further downside movement on that. Australian dollar, Japanese yen, I'm in this trade too. Again, that's the Australian dollar weakness that we're seeing there at the moment and possibly that strength on the Japanese yen. US dollar, Japanese yen in this, looking for further upside movement on this due to the US dollar strength, although the Japanese yen strength is also holding that back a little bit, so just have to see what that does. It's hovering around, it's been going sideways for a little while now. US dollar, Canadian dollar, no trades to be taken on that at the moment. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, I was in this trade on the last run through that we did, but that continued to pull back. Saw that Canadian dollar weakness happening, and so I jumped out of that and I lost 4 pips. I was 4 pips down on the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, still seeing this downside movement on that US dollar strength. So at the moment I am 2 pips down. I've got 10 pips on the US dollar, Canadian dollar earlier news trade. Lost 8 pips on the Euro US dollar and I lost 4 pips punching out of the CJ. So at the moment I'm just 2 pips down and I've got some nice profits that I'm holding on open trades. Okay, I'll pause again and I'll be back very soon. Okay, coming back with a quick update just to say that I'm flat in the market before the red news event. There's US dollar red news event coming out at 3 o'clock London time. Got a couple of minutes, 14:58 at the moment, so there's a couple of minutes to go. At the moment I'm 79 pips up. Made 93 pips and I lost 14 pips, so 79 pips up. I'm just going to pause this quickly and see if I can trade anything on this US dollar news. If not, I'll come back and do a breakdown of what trades I took and the profits that I made. Okay, so I'll be back shortly. Okay, final update on this. I'm out of all trades. I looked at that US dollar news that came out at 3 o'clock London time. There wasn't really anything showing out there, so I didn't bother taking any further trades. So what I'll do, I'll quickly run through these trades that I took and show you where I got in, took profit, and run through all of these results. So Euro US dollar, the first trade I took on this, as it hit our criteria here, and I got stopped out on that. That was a full stop, so I lost 8 pips on that. That first trade that I took on the Euro US dollar. Second trade I took was, one second, let's just bring that up. Second trade I took was there, and I took profit on that. I punched out of that down here before the news, and that second Euro US dollar trade I took 7 pips profit on that. So Euro US dollar, I ended up 1 pip down overall. Euro Japanese yen, just looking for this. EJ was another loss. So Euro Japanese yen, took 1 trade on this as it hit our criteria, and I got in here and price reversed on this, so I punched out here. Euro Japanese, I lost 2 pips on that. Pound US dollar, one of the bigger winners of the day. Pound US dollar, I got in here at 65 and I took profit down here, giving me on the pound US dollar 27 pips on that. I punched out of that just before the US dollar news at 3 o'clock. So 27 pip win on the pound US dollar. Pound Japanese yen, another nice move, continued on this through the London session and through into the New York session. I took the pound Japanese yen at 83, saw that come down, and I took profit on that down at 22. So I took 22 pips on that, on the pound Japanese yen, seeing price come down here. And it was at the same time that I punched out of the other trades that I got out of that. Australian dollar US dollar. Took this trade here as it came through our criteria. Australian dollar US dollar, I ended up taking 13 pips on that as price came down here, again punching out because of the US dollar news, red news event that was coming out at 3 o'clock. Australian dollar Japanese yen, took this trade and I punched out of it for break even. When I closed the other trades, I just punched out of that, and that was a break even trade. Didn't get anything out of that at all. I didn't lose anything. US dollar Japanese yen, you can see I took this here looking for further upside movement, got that upside movement, again punched out of this when the news event, just before the news event. So US dollar Japanese yen, I took 7 pips on that. And US dollar CAD, wow, that's rocketing up now, isn't it? This was a red news event at 13:30 London time, Canadian dollar red news event that came out. Took the trade here and I punched out here, taking 10 pips profit. Price came down, and the criteria that we use at the Price Action Traders Institute said that I needed to get out of that trade there, so I took that trade off for 10 pips, took 10 pip profit on that. Canadian dollar Japanese yen was one that I took as a news event as well at the same time at 13:30, and this one here, you can see I took it here as the news came out, and I was looking for upside movement on this. The news was showing that there was, well, the move that took place as the news event came out was showing Canadian dollar strength, but it didn't happen. It came back, and I ended up punching out down here for -4 pips. I lost 4 pips on the Canadian dollar Japanese yen. New Zealand dollar US dollar, took this trade here and price pulled back a bit, didn't hit my stop, carried on down, moving down the way I wanted it to, and again this was one that I punched out of because of that red news event that came out at 3 o'clock London time. Ended up taking, what was it on this, 7 pips on the New Zealand dollar US dollar. And that was it. Like I say, I didn't take any further trades on that other news event. Didn't see any moves that were pulling me in or hitting my criteria that was telling me to get in. So I just stayed on the sidelines and was happy with what I had. And so final totals for today, just typed up on here. You can see those trades that I took, I won 93 pips and I lost 14 pips, giving me a total of 79 pips profit, and that equates to 3.11% increase in my capital, just risking 0.5% on any one trade that I take. And I was trading for 83 minutes, so good return. If you want to find out more about this method of trading, it's through the Price Action Traders Institute. You can go to my website www.uk2asia.com, my mentor, and you can find out more about Kim Krompus, the woman that teaches this method, and you can actually go through the membership there through my website. Both of us trade each day that we're trading on Twitter, showing our entries, exits and final results. And also please subscribe to this video if you've taken anything from it. That way you'll get the heads up as and when I post the new videos. So finished for the day, and it's been a reasonable day, seen some good moves and some continuing moves I'm still seeing now, but I'm quite happy with that, walking away with 79 pips. Okay, thanks very much, and I'll see you again soon.